MamaMax's folly has finally led him to being hoisted by his own petard.
This video also includes some of my favorite quotes ever.
You can't just tell your story anymore. Now you need concrete evidence.
Max included a screenshot of my avatar crudely photoshopped onto the face of Derek Chauvin.
Yo! What I tell you? Let's go! Guys, this is it. This is the thing.
Max has an unreleased video called My Little Pony.
This is gonna blow your mind. New information. Extensively previously, okay? We've covered, you know, all the way back to 2021, I covered Pick a Side and thought it was bullshit, but wasn't really connected to some of the people that are talking about it now. But obviously, I think looking back, there was a lot of support for it where there shouldn't have been. There should have been more criticism, okay? That much is true. The allegation stuff, I thought was kind of credible against Max, but people kind of disputed it and it got swept under the rug. That was annoying, but it was what it was. Now, finally, after years of pretending and coping about being a predator hunter, MamaMax's folly has finally led him to being hoisted by his own petard. Okay? MamaMax has been exposed as a complete and utter charlatan. He went after someone called Camden Gerard Davis on the back of what is later revealed to be very dubious evidence. He tried to get influencers to talk about it like he has before, and people weren't interested. And after a period of time, people have started to scrutinize not only this situation, but previous situations too. So the level of scrutiny on MamaMax has been extreme. The first kind of like big lump of drama happened, then a kind of second lump of drama happened as more people were covering it, and obviously Nicholas DeOrio's video came out. You know, first it was Lyrics kind of going on stream and talking about it. Nicholas DeOrio video came out, other videos came out, and that was kind of it. People have been milking this. But now, Nicholas DeOrio has just dropped his second video. I have alluded to and teased some of this, knowing a bit behind the scenes and you know, being sort of secrecy on certain aspects of it, okay? I'm not going to spoil it, but what I will say is this. If you remember, I spoke a little bit about the Night Docs guy, but kept it kind of open-ended as to what it meant, okay? This video is going to have crazy revelations in regards to that person, from what I understand. And also, there's other aspects to the story that I don't even know are going to be in the video. So, originally, this was going to be 20 minutes. Now, apparently, it's an hour. Over an hour, maybe. But without any further ado, I present to you another Nicholas DeOrio classic. This video will make you hate MamaMax.
When I set out to discuss MamaMax and made an extremely detailed deep dive into his past and present actions, I could never have imagined how far he would fall mere days after my video was released. For this reason, I feel like moving on from the situation too soon would be a disservice to both my audience and the community. Without further ado, I give you MamaMax.
I could literally cancel you, Charlie. I could literally cancel you. And I choose not to.
Here's the video. Go and give it a view.
It's true, though.
Get it up on the second monitor.
Like, I'm the friggin' hunter.
Oh my god, look! Yo! I'm on the corkboard, bro! Oh my god, bro! I'm in the corkboard! Let's go! That's based! Let's go!
Okay, so just to catch you up, MamaMax claims to be a filmmaker who empowers children, but he's actually a con artist who fakes large portions of his predator hunting content.
I am presenting it as if it were to be real, but I didn't think people would take it as that.
But wait, you hunt files. You don't think that people are going to think your videos are real?
Yes, it makes it look like, as part of his investigation, he's trying to figure out if I'm an abuser. But I'm guessing it's in reference to me talking about the allegations and stuff on my stream, right?
That's the thing. So I want everyone, when you watch
Wait a
my
second.
video,
Wait a second. Are we going to have some revelation that someone's come out against me or something? Is that what's going to happen? Oh, no.
to assume everything is fake, except like when I show a face on what they're doing.
MamaMax is also not the type of predator hunter who actively tries to send your abuser to prison. So you've never actually gotten a arrested?
Not to my knowledge.
His methods include sexting those predators himself and awkwardly wondering why the police just won't do anything.
I'm also actually going to start interviewing police because I know they all want to arrest them. It's just the law binds them.
Despite his long, storied history of catching exactly 0 predators in his 5 years of hunting, MamaMax has attempted and failed to help multiple girls claiming to be abused and previously indoctrinated in a cult.
Max is supposed to be the one bringing the story across to everyone. And yes, if in the case that everything is actually...
Why is it my job?
Yeah, why are you putting it all on me?
To put things plainly, Max has no idea what he's doing and has created a circus around these women. MamaMax is, however, the type of egomaniac to change his legal middle name to Savior.
Oh my god, okay, I saw this. I wasn't sure, like, is this, like, bad to point out? I think it's public court documents, but yes, this is true. He changed his name to Max Salvatorio Striker, Salvatorio being, what is it, Spanish for savior or something. Yes, correct. Bro, that is... Yes, as he did. This is true. Latin. Well, so some other language. You know what I mean. Basically, his name is Max Savior Striker. Are you allowed to say this? I don't know. I saw this on a certain forum and I was like, this is funny, but I'm not sure if I can talk about this. But Nick's gone all in. My name is Max, Savior, preventer of children getting redacted, stopper of pedos, destroyer of nonces, Striker. And yes, I've legally changed it to that.
Because that's totally something a normal, mentally stable, well-adjusted person would do. Today I would like to take the time to discuss with you several things that I left out of my previous video, Max's responses to our coverage, and I would like to personally introduce you to the members that previously populated Max's friend group. They're eager to share some testimony of their own regarding Max's character.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
Prior to myself and Mudahar publishing our videos, MamaMax tried to get out ahead by releasing a video of his own. This abomination was titled, I Place Accountability into My Own Hands, which is hilarious because absolutely no accountability was taken by Max. The truth is, we knew Max was going to pull this stunt. In fact, he vaguely threatened Mudahar by saying he, Muda, will appear on the wrong side of history, and he threw in a far more direct, this will get very ugly for you and your brand, in there just for good measure. If you watched my last video, or really anyone else's coverage, this was the upload that contained the infamous hug. Ladies and gentlemen, we made him cry. The entire video was fishing for sympathy, and I'm just going to be honest, Max is not going to be getting any from me in this video. One of the largest criticisms against Max is that he hides behind his abuse survivors like a coward, and no example that I've shown you up to this point comes close to what you're about to see.
I hope you can all understand my position. We are living in a world where survivors scream for help and no one wants to listen.
That was the night where he had induced my last marriage.
But you know, the transformation process is really dangerous on your body, especially because you're young.
Oh my god, yeah, that's true. I forgot about this part. MamaMax stacked a sample platter of victim stories to hide behind at the end of his video. That's literally the only move he's got. Hide behind victims. It's so shameful, man.
So from there, she had me like put stuff in my body and told me to pretend it was like his penis.
During the midst of it, I tried to scream.
We interrupt your sympathy baiting and bitching to play a sexual abuse survivor sample platter to really pull at your heartstrings. I don't need to tell you that this is extremely manipulative and disgusting behavior. This video also includes some of my favorite quotes ever.
You can't just tell your story anymore. Now you need concrete evidence.
Yeah, no shit, jackass. Ironically enough, despite throwing shade towards myself and Mudahar, Moist Critical gets a...
The thing is, you can also tell your story as well, right? If you want to tell your story, but recognize you're going to get scrutiny. And also, you can't make concrete claims just off the back of a story, right? You are out here saying that Camden Gerard Davis is like a lot of things, but like a cult leader. You're saying he's a cult leader based on nothing. Now, we've seen the evidence. We've seen the stuff that you had. There's nowhere near enough to claim he's a cult leader. And also, some of that information came in after he made the video where he called him a cult leader. Make your video, say your piece, but you can't make conclusive claims about someone without strong evidence. That's absurd. Of course not. That's how you get into defamation territory.
Long, thorough glazing in this video.
I'm sorry to Charlie for dragging him into a case that is not necessarily his fight. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to Charlie. I really am sorry. I did not.
Yeah, as I said before with this, the only reason he did this is because he thought he could still like curry favor with Moist Critical and would be able to get somewhere with him, right? This is a totally shameless, obvious attempt, particularly with the clip that I'm sure Nicholas is about to show, of him desperately trying to like get back in with him and be like, I'm sorry about this, because that was the last person with any platform that might still take him seriously.
I don't mean to make you upset. We just need help.
I was about as confused as you probably are here when I first watched this. As of a few days before my video, Charlie was actually still the only person willing to sit down and chat with Max and Spencer.
So we decided to reschedule.
And what happened with that?
We are waiting for Charlie to get back to us because we are going to fit it with his schedule.
So then why are you putting this weird blame on me?
Even after Max, the Predator Hunter, clickbaited him and upset him personally, Charlie was still willing to make time to meet with Max. The reality was, this is probably Max's last chance to get a large YouTuber involved, and well, he hadn't chased him away just yet.
I hope it's clear why I'm so willing to just call him a cult leader and sexual predator. I feel there's enough here. People have gone by with a lot less. Even Charlie has called people pedophiles without any hard evidence.
Who specifically?
Who was it? Was it Sneeko?
Max released this video alongside a brand new GoFundMe. After months of Patreon support and the recent wave of criticism, Max thought asking for more money was a good idea. People were also quick to point out that Spencer, one of the girls that Max is currently representing, has the role of financial manager for all of the other survivors. Spencer, who might I remind you, is literally homeless and living in Max's house, is now in charge of everyone else's money.
I don't think y'all understand like the relationship here.
This is wildly inappropriate, and Max has not detailed how these funds are being distributed.
Yeah. This is the Kai person, isn't it? Hey, would anyone be willing to send me $20 to get some baby wipes, diapers, and eggs? Oh, that's bleak, man. Spencer's living it up in Shea MamaMax, getting moved in.
Or which survivors have actually gotten a percentage of the money raised thus far.
You can release it with their approval.
And then if the evidence isn't substantial enough, I'm putting myself in a...
If you want to see where that money's going, look at MamaMax's fridge, okay? You'll be able to see where that money is.
Defamation issue?
So you don't believe them?
There's a difference between believing somebody and being willing to...
I just sent it to you. Testimonials can serve as evidence.
Yeah, the judge and jury must consider whether the witness statement is credible alongside looking at other forms of evidence.
Dude, this is so... We're not even in court right now, and you're talking about what could potentially get a conviction while you're trying to go to the court of social media, and you're telling them you don't have any fucking evidence.
See, the thing is about...
Wrong stuff to the wrong place, dude. If you thought his last video was rushed, the next one looks like it was thrown together in about 20 minutes.
The thing is, it is true that you can just take into account testimony, but that is like often like a last resort if there's nothing else. And the testimony has to be bulletproof, locked on, not open to like scrutiny from the alternative side, and also from a credible witness. And those things are long gone now. Spencer, not a credible witness, right? Like, just look at Spencer, for example. Not a credible witness. Lots of angles of attack from a defense attorney because you're in a Discord together and they're going to accuse you of colluding, right? There was a whole post about this where a supposed survivor advocate talked about this. That, you know, he's done everything possible to make a case against Cameron Gerard Davis at this point impossible using this because of all the things that he's done wrong, you know? So, yeah. Testimony works, but it's very important that you protect the value of that testimony by protecting the credibility of the witnesses, not doing things which are going to leave holes to be poked by the defense attorney and so on. And he's just totally done everything wrong. So while there's a valid point there, it doesn't apply in this case because of the way that Max has handled it.
Unlike the quote-unquote accountability video, Max's post-video response was locked behind his Patreon. We are not beating the grifter allegations today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, the GoFundMe that Max launched, where all the money was being managed by Max's homeless survivor he's currently representing, ended up getting shut down in mere hours. I went to sleep.
Exactly. And also, if you give testimony in court, you're under oath. And if you're found to be lying in your testimony, you can suffer legal consequences for that. But you can literally tweet anything out. And the only consequence of that is social if you're lying. So there's an extra value and weight put on testimony given in court. So the question is, like, would you actually give that same testimony in court? Or would it be different because you'd be worried about those consequences and stuff, you know?
Woke up and it was gone.
We stand at a pivotal moment in history for the voices of child sex crime survivors. The silence has already been overwhelming, and now powerful forces are trying to further mute our efforts.
Yeah, Max, powerful forces are trying to stop you, like your gigantic ego and rampant narcissism, or, I guess, the law.
Because I know they all want to arrest them, it's just the law binds them.
The rest of this video is just a bad speech where Max places blame entirely on the dissenting voices, such as commentary YouTubers, and announces an entire separate documentary called Silencing All Survivors, where he will no doubt embarrass himself further. I personally think that Max should invest this time into a self-reflective sister project called Exploiting All Survivors. It could be about the dangers of fabricating evidence and the morality of doing it while you're making $15,000 a month on Patreon from the abuse survivors in your audience. But look, I'm not a documentarian. In the background of this video, MamaMax chose to include a scroll through of the trending page to showcase the discourse after my video released. What happened next, I assume, was an oversight. This is an actual screenshot from Max's video. Yeah, your eyes do not...
This is so good that you included this. A picture of Nicholas literally kneeling on MamaMax. With a style I totally disavow, because we all know the context of this, right? I do not avow such jokes about St. Floyd.
Not deceive you. Max included a screenshot of my avatar crudely photoshopped onto the face of Derek Chauvin with the caption, "We stand at a pivotal moment in history for the voices of child sex crime survivors. Powerful forces are trying to further mute our efforts." This is really weird and uncomfortable. And yes, this is the same guy who thinks he's the Martin Luther King of predator hunters.
Dude, yeah, I love these guys. Always keeps me on my mission, I think, and the importance of my mission, of our mission.
What mission? You haven't done shit. Is that MLK on his wall? Give me a break.
I have a dream.
By the way, happy Max History Month.
As you could probably...
Yo! Hey, look, I did it for a special occasion, see? I decided to get it up there. This is a banger. This is obviously based on, it's based on the thing, on my thing. Because it's so common that people see it on my stream. But I actually took it from Twitter, I think, or something. And then Zap, who used to be a mod for me, edited it and obviously put Jesse Smollett in it. And that's how it became a thing. But now we're going to have this for a little while, I think. It's so funny that my desktop background has, influenced a piece of art that's now appeared in this video.
Imagine neither of these responses were able to stop the bleeding. Max's YouTube channel would go on to lose 47,000 subscribers in the month of January.
Jesus.
To make matters worse, Max was losing support from the survivors that he'd been trying to help in his inner circle. It's also worth mentioning that all of Camden's videos, including the apology video we just watched, have been removed from Max's public-facing YouTube channel. This includes all the live streams as well, but does not extend to things like anything Spencer has released. Remember that, by the way. Compartmentalize it. If MamaMax did lose support, the following segment is most likely the reason why. If he didn't lose support, the mistakes he made here absolutely should be the reason for the remaining holdouts to drop him. Leaked images started dropping from inside the Survivor Discord, and this was both concerning and really funny. MamaMax was trying to convince the survivors to help him sue Mudahar, who's really rich, apparently.
In this, he types, "At everyone, Spencer and I Spencer being his lead witness in this vampire sex cult case, are considering a class action lawsuit against Mutahar for breaching our non-disclosure agreement. He's extremely rich, so the lawsuit seeks $1 million in damages to be distributed between all of you. Reading the word "he's extremely rich," so the lawsuit seeks $1 million in damages, is quite possibly one of the biggest mistakes you can make when actually threatening litigation.
Yes.
Because this is what a court will look at and say, this is why you're actually hitting them, because you just want a payday.
Max.
Yes, that is true. In fact, that caught out, who was it? Sargon of Akkad got taken to court by a creator over a copyright dispute, and it found in Sargon's favor. And one of the reasons is because in comments that this person made, they made it clear that they were like going to take them for everything they're worth, and made comments, because the whole point of it is you are seeking restitution for like the breach of the copyright only, but you're framing it as if it's like some sort of punishment, or you're seeking out some sort of financial remuneration. Akilah Hughes, that was it. Yeah. She just couldn't stop tweeting. So if you're going to take someone to court, it's very important that you are very, careful about how you go about talking about it publicly. And this is going to absolutely fuck him if he ever decided to try and do that.
Was foaming out the mouth, claiming he could get these girls $1 million and it would really help their case. Unsurprisingly, some of Max's own Discord server was going against him, as it really doesn't make any sense, and it just seems unproductive and fairly malicious on the side of Max.
All I ever was to this man was an extremely rich friend who had enough social media clout for him to piggyback his stupid case off of. This, to me, is quite possibly one of the worst, internet betrayals I ever had. And if anything, it's the one thing that has pushed me severely away from everybody on YouTube in the last week or two.
The leaked message from Spencer is kind of telling in that it shines a light on what she's after here. I don't really know how else you could read a message.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I was obviously very critical of my conversation with Mutahar. I could kind of talk about and look at the things he's done and say, oh, did he do this right and that right? And there's probably even more criticism I would issue. But fundamentally, I think Mutahar, all things considered, is doing a reasonable job of trying to correct the record on this, right? I don't, you get to a point where it's like you're literally just going at someone again and again and again to the point where it gets ridiculous, when he's, admitted, at least on my stream openly, about how wrong he was about stuff. And in his own content, he's putting out there, he's talking about it, and he's kind of, making these criticisms of him now. So, if you want more viciousness and more attacks along those lines, that does exist out there. But for me, I'm like, fair enough. I'm not really gonna, and this is why I've kind of avoided, even with like the Nux Taku stuff, right? I've not gone through and watched all the content about Nux Taku, because I know I'd have criticisms of the Nux Taku thing, because Nux Taku has been very fucking soft about how he's kind of responded and talked about this. But you're just sat there looking for someone to fuck up, and I just don't really find that compelling as a creator to sit there and be like, he didn't do it there, he didn't do it there, he didn't do it there. Do you know what I mean? So just assume that, I think that there's more that could be done to self-flagellate, if you like, but just going out and seeking out that and trying to find it is not really something I'm interested in. But I think that at the very least, if someone is making a video and is making the criticisms and putting the word out there, I think that's at least something towards correcting the record.
Like that. In my opinion, it's about money for her. Some of the victims in these leaks look like they want their alleged abuser convicted, and some of them look like Spencer, ready to just take that money from anyone if Camden doesn't have the assets needed for a civil case. What happened next is actually pathetic. The entire evidence server was leaked, and it's all Max's fault. A random person pretended to be a survivor of Camden Gerard Davis and infiltrated the group. Because he dropped the ball so badly and didn't vet this person well enough,
obviously, this stuff I've covered, so obviously I'm aware of this already. Most of you probably are. But imagine if you had not seen any of my content about it, right? This is a great summary, and it gives you a really good, succinct thing of stuff that I've covered over a period of streams. So, very good summary, very succinct, kind of cuts to the chase of what you need to know to understand the full narrative. So, Listen, I don't want to glaze too much, okay? Because obviously, I do get on with Nicholas quite well. I consider us friends at this point. But Nicholas is very good at this. He's very good at stitching together a narrative in a video so it kind of is coherent and you can follow it without knowing anything about it, right? I think that is definitely a talent that you notice when you look at Nicholas's stuff. So, definitely solid kind of aspect there.
They were able to leak details about survivor evidence that hadn't been publicly shared yet. This all led to the dumb NDA being revealed and subsequently laughed at.
By the way, if you're a YouTuber or whatever, if you break this NDA, like nothing is going to happen to you. This guy doesn't have money for any legal bullshit or anything. This is retarded.
It's funny how Max thinks these unnotarized NDAs that were likely written by ChatGPT are enforceable.
Although, wait a second. I saw some discussion in my Discord. In fact, someone in chat might be able to, maybe this person said this. I think there was some discussion about the fact that, like, it could potentially constitute an agreement that a court may consider to be adequate to, you know, process through and be considered a breach of NDA. But, I mean, you know, that even if that were true, I don't think that MamaMax is going to pursue that. Like, I cannot imagine that he's going to go after people for breaking the NDA. And there may well be arguments against it even being upheld. I don't fucking know for sure. I'm not a legal expert. But yeah, I think that, yeah, I don't know. There was some people were saying in my Discord, oh no, they could do, and they seem to know what they're talking about. I mean, obviously it's a fucking Discord club shito, but just saying that, yeah. I don't know either way. I'm not a legal expert. I have seen some commentary that it may well be constituted as an agreement if it got to the stage of going to court. But yeah, exactly, Stylo. Like, the likelihood is of him taken into court is highly unlikely. And it would be like an uphill battle for him to make it that this is a binding contract, rather than it being, you know, an actual legal document that's been put together correctly by a legal team. You know, that's going to have more power to make an argument that an NDA has been breached than what you've got here. Like, you're going to have to make the argument that this constitutes like a contract and stuff in court, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's like simple verbal agreements are binding, right? That's, I think, what it's premised on. But again, not a legal expert. I think the fact of the matter is that he wouldn't ever pursue a fucking YouTuber for breaking this, so it's kind of a moot point anyway.
Them as kind of a joke for a while now. The one I signed to watch a video early came with a promotional obligation where I was required to live stream it and give Max a shout out. This is a joke. I literally signed it on a PlayStation controller manual. After Max threatened a lawsuit and his Discord was compromised, Max's former editor released a weird, edgy outtake video which contained gems like these.
I could literally cancel you, Charlie. I could literally cancel you. And I choose not to. It's true, though. It's the truth. Like, I'm the friggin' hunter.
Yo!
Like...
Clearly this video was at least partially in character, but I think there's more to this than what meets the eye. Remember the time that Max straight up wrote that he doesn't hunt predators to help children? He does it because he likes hurting people. One thing that didn't make it into my first video, surprisingly, was that MamaMax's Mega account was suspended and subsequently reported to law enforcement per their website policy. Max used Mega to store those evidence files that would be found linked in a pastebin in the descriptions of his videos. Due to the subject matter of his content, many quickly jumped to the conclusion that MamaMax was storing evidence on this account. When confronted directly, this is what Max had to say.
Like I explained, the Mega folder and why it was publicly available was evidence of predators. This includes them masturbating on camera while I am telling them I'm a 15-year-old girl. This was made available so that people could see that these videos, even if there are fictional elements, this part is real, and this needs to be taken to law enforcement. If it
Bro, I was willing to accept that it's real on the base of the video. I've always said that the real part is him sexting these nonces, pretending to be a 15-year-old. And yeah, you want to have like a collective element for law enforcement, sure, if you want to do that. I mean, obviously he's a fucking complete con. He wasn't really caring about that anyway. But yeah, I mean, what was on there though that would have led to that? Like, dude, that's crazy. Did you even check? Like, this is the point, isn't it? You check with the police. I'm doing predator hunter stuff. How do I store this in a way where I don't fall afoul of the authorities? You know, what do I do? What's the, you know, way that I pass this on to you in a way that works within the system? You know, he didn't do any of that. So he just stored a bunch of stuff without checking with anyone in a place where if it gets reported, it could end up getting investigated by law enforcement. Insane behavior from this guy.
it was sent to law enforcement by Mega, then it is serving the purpose it was intended for.
The problem with Max's response here is it's not possible. When sites like Mega remove CSAM material, they are identified with known CSAM hashes, and Muda will explain far more coherently than I can what exactly that means and why Max's explanation is impossible.
Those hash files are then checked against other hashes of images, objects that you have on your local device or wherever you store online continuously, and if a hash gets tripped, which there could be false positives, but generally there aren't, they all check hashes, okay? Literally fingerprints within picture files. So I decided to go to Mega's transparency, and I wanted to see exactly how they identify objectionable content. When an account gets hit, they can appeal, but the appeals are so limited that I'm not joking, in certain quarters, they have literally allowed 0 appeals to go through. In fact, their highest appeals were 10 appeals, and this is obviously thousands of accounts being taken down. Very, very few accounts ever get reinstated.
There's also the matter of vetting Max's story. Let's listen to that one more time.
The Mega folder and why it was publicly available was evidence of predators. This includes them masturbating on camera while I am telling them I'm a 15-year-old girl.
Later on in the call, Max claimed that the account was not even his. He had no access to the email used to create that Mega.
How do you know what was... Did they notify you what videos triggered this or took your account down?
Yeah, the hash in particular, maybe.
So, like I said, I don't have access to the account. I sent all of my evidence to a member of my team. It was a non-hacker, and they uploaded it and sent me
a member of my team, a non-hacker. Everything he says is just dripping in fucking bullshit, isn't it? Oh, God, bro. Some Discord glup shito that you convinced to do a bunch of stuff for you, probably for a fucking pittance, okay?
So, for all we know, that person...
Was it J-Mac?
Could have posted something that triggered us.
I doubt it. They abandon all their accounts after they upload shit.
Max would send all of his evidence to an undisclosed third-party team member who then posted it for him on an account they would immediately abandon. This means it's impossible for Max to have even known what the reason for removal was.
Oh,
if he had no access to the email, he would have no concrete reason to believe what he's saying here. He wouldn't know why he was suspended. Despite that fact, MamaMax went on to concoct an entire story about how he was taken down for uploading videos of predators masturbating to him.
When you're a YouTuber doing an investigation, you gotta do everything by the goddamn book. The fact that you even have people on your team that are getting law enforcement to investigate you over illegally acquired materials, which can land not you in jail, not just you, but ruin any case that you work on.
Max's really weird lie raises far more questions than answers, but one thing does remain clear. This guy does not belong within 50 feet of a serious story pertaining to actual victims. Before we get to our last main subject matter of this video, I wanted to briefly address a few things that didn't really fit, well, anywhere else. The first of which is, Max has an unreleased video called My Little Pony, where the plan was to expose predators in the brony community.
Oh my God! No way! This is new information. Let's go! I do not know. This honestly is great. I know nothing about this. I know nothing about this. This is going to be good. Okay.
What happened to the My Little Pony video, or what was that about? So My Little Pony was gonna be a video inspired by all the pedo communities in My Little Pony community, like all the bronies. I didn't go through with that video just because I thought it was harmful, like labeling all bronies as pedos basically. And I don't think I should spread messages like that, like just concentrate one group. Oh, these are all pedos. I mean, maybe not, you know, maybe them just... You know, maybe some of them just suffer mental illness or have traumatic...
Wow, so he's got all this time to... Oh, I don't want to falsely accuse the bronies of being nonsense. Bro, this guy is fucking... Is he a brony? Is that what it is? It's such a weird thing to come from him. Because he doesn't care about stuff like that normally. The duality of Max.
Childhoods and our... Turkey Tom did a video on bro...
It's like he was willing to paint IMVU... as a, what, a pet, he called it like a pet, he got, well, Nexpo read the readout of the script, but it's like, he was claiming IMVU was like a pedo ring, right? Some fucking app that loads of people use, a lot of people for non-pedophile. He was happy to do it then, but no, don't you dare say that bronies are nonces, because not all bronies are nonces. That's crazy.
Trust Turkey Tom. I'm sure he did a good job.
Later on in this video, we'll be briefed by Nexpo about a drama you've never heard of. But before that, he's offered to come shed some light on the My Little Pony video.
Okay, to start things off, I'd like to just clear the air and say that I've seen a lot of whispers about the My Little Pony video. So the My Little Pony project was something that Max approached me about pretty early on in our friendship, back when he was doing like the gaming mystery video phase of his channel. Essentially, it all boiled down to Max was going to fabricate a mystery surrounding the My Little Pony community and blow the whole top off of it and expose, I guess, whatever story he was going to cook up.
Oh my god, more fucking... Well, it is obviously testimony from the Expo. Obviously, you know, we're going to take it for what it is. But, I mean, this perfectly aligns with all the other stuff that he's done, right? Yeah, I'm going to concoct something about My Little Pony and blow the lid off it. God, he's such a fucking... grifter, man.
I didn't know too much about the project, but he did want me to collab in it with him, but he did end up scrapping it at some point, so it ended up falling to the back burner.
Look, we all knew that Max would recreate or fabricate evidence against what he claimed were real predators. He's also confessed as much to me. Nexpo's statement alleges an even more sinister reality and casts much more of a doubt on his backlog. Yeah. Another thing I really need to mention is that Max directed and filmed a rape scene for one of his more recent pieces of content.
Yes, I spoke about this, but I never showed the clip. This is crazy, man.
This is really fucking weird, and it's weirder when you see how he addressed it to his Patreon supporters who were voicing their discontent.
Well, this is a mushroom. Oh, this is a mushroom. Remember, a mushroom was in chat fucking when we covered this. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's not played the full clip, but there's like a boot stepping on a condom filled with you know what. There's like a, you know, reverse backward shot, like showing the face of the child played by our actress, but a child, and then the face of the person doing it. It's nuts. Unbelievable. And this was to help victims, apparently.
People asking you not to film scenes of implied children is not shying away from the issue. I believe it is, but we can disagree on that. We are all aware that this happens in your depictions of this. This is not true. I don't think we are all aware that this happens, at least not to the extent at which it does happen. And I didn't even go into detail. Like, I could have, like, there are mutilations, there is torture, there is things that cannot even be presented in a medium.
Just to be clear, the actress who played the minor is obviously an adult, but I don't understand the point of anything Max has made here. How is artistically recreating the exploitation of a minor empowering to victims? Max, you're a degenerate.
I'm just trying to stay to the truth. The character is an AGI. That is a spoiler, but it's also, whether she's an AGI or not, it doesn't really matter to the conversation. I just wanted to get that out there. I think the fact that the actress is a consenting adult portraying a child is the problem here, which I understand.
Guys, the thing that I meant to be a child is not a child. It's an AGI. Wow, that really changes so much.
I don't understand if they feel that.
Yeah, it's the classic. Guys, isn't a kid? This is a 5,000-year-old dragon. You fools! You think I'm being a nonce, jerking off to? You think I'm jerking off to a kid? Wrong! 5,000-year-old dragon! Your opinion's invalid. This is all totally fine.
Why would they continue to fund you on Patreon? So, Echo, you bring up a great point. I think it's because they want to vent on my Patreon their personal opinion, because it feels like they are being purposefully confrontational. All of their responses are emotionally charged. They bring up things that have nothing to do with human trafficking. Yeah, let's not gang up on them. I don't want to gang up here. I want to have a conversation.
While the simulated rape porn is mostly censored for YouTube, Max's Patreon offers an uncensored version, and you can find that floating around online. Again, I'm not really sure who's being empowered by paywalled rape porn.
The only way I can make money is through Patreon.
That is the only way I can make money. Even still, I put resources at the very top of the description. If you want to donate to other organizations that deserve your money just as much, if not more than me.
This guy thinks he's fucking Rain.
So I'm pretty sure the base of these arguments come from MamaMax only wants money. MamaMax only wants to make horror movies, and MamaMax is willing to exploit children to do so. Like I said, if I wanted to make money, I'm in the worst industry to do so. If I made
it's so crazy to sit there when you're earning so much money from Patreon and be like, oh, this is the worst way to make money. When you're making over $10,000 a month on Patreon, you're making 6 figures doing it, and you're acting like it's the hardest possible way to make money. You're literally rolling in money, right? You got Patreon. I'm sure there's other revenue sources too that he taps into. Obviously, a lot of his stuff does get demonetized, but I'm sure there's some ad revenue trickling in from some videos. Oh yeah, this is the hardest industry to do it. It's just so shameless. And it's also just wrong. Pred hunting is like massive on the internet. Massive. It's an enormous industry. And of course, you need to monetize in ways because you do get demonetized sometimes, but it's a massive industry. Massive fucking attention for that sort of content.
any other content, my life would be so much easier. I wouldn't have to deal with all this criticism about, like, I'm not portraying it properly.
Instead of crying about how it would be easier to just make other content to escape criticism, why don't you just make different content or nothing at all? You've never helped anyone before, and this tantrum hasn't convinced anyone to be on your side. Max does this a lot with his Patreon releases. In the public puppy stomp video, Max included a vague call to action for his viewers to harm those he featured in his video.
Even if some cannot appreciate the gravity of what we are doing, they cannot deny that you and I and others have been setting a precedent where the world will no longer tolerate pedophiles talking to and touching children.
In the uncensored version, this call to action was played alongside a prison shanking, with the understanding that Max has faked evidence against his targets before, and oftentimes loops in real content creators like Tommy C to be exposed alongside them. This is really alarming.
That is the world we live in. It exists, and I think anything that tries to shy away from it or only imply it, but don't show the whole thing, just imply. How is that gonna affect anyone? Who's gonna have an emotional response to that?
For years, people...
The thing is, it's true that these organizations use shocking things to, like, get people, but not like, you wouldn't see, what's like a RAIN or something, RAIN or a child protection group, they wouldn't simulate a rape of a child and put that out there. Right? They wouldn't simulate, like, the boot stepping on a condom, squishing the what out. It would be, like, shocking in a way that's kind of, it reminds you of how crazy it is. Like, for example, there was an advert where it was like, there was a young lad talking online to someone he thought was a boy, and it showed you the other side, and it was an old man speaking with a young boy's voice. And the point was, he's pretending to be a young lad online, but really is an old nonce. And that was shocking, because you're like, it's so unnerving to see an adult speak with a child's voice like that. That's the kind of ways that they shock you, but in ways that are still respectful to victims and don't put, like, the worst, darkest moments of their experiences, like, on display. Now, that's not to say that there's a problem with, like, explicit scenes of rapes and stuff in movies. Like, that is an entertainment or, like, horror or shocking, but it's not to help victims. So Max wants to do the horror thing of crazy stuff happening and act like it's for victims, when not only is that absurd on its face, but this mushroom person showed a bunch of studies that demonstrated that watching those types of scenes as a survivor, as a victim, can actually re-traumatize you and make you think about it again. So on all fronts, completely, utterly, and totally wrong.
Question, why is YouTube removing Max's content? If I'm being honest, these last few weeks have me questioning why he's even still here.
My dad used to do as a cup that brought down a pedophile ring in London, and it's something I'd like to do, but I don't know where to start, who to talk to, or what skills are needed. Part of You Can't Hurt Me will be educating y'all on how you can do the work yourself. And not just doing the work, but doing it professionally and respectfully.
Oh no. What an absolute fuck... the blind leading the blind.
He doesn't know how to do it either!
Yes, exactly.
In your previous investigations, what have you done to ensure that the evidence you're passing over to police is sufficient to get prosecution? And what precautions do you take to make sure it's usable in a court of law? None! They just beat off to him!
I mean, we literally had him. It's literally us saying we're 14 years old. He's saying, yeah, I want to see your pussy. I want to see, like, I want you to ride me. I'm also actually going to start interviewing police local to me as to why pedophiles don't get arrested, because I know they all want to arrest them. It's just the law binds them.
Max, what the fuck does that mean?
That will be one of the sections of UCAM hurt me.
Like, the thing is as well, is if you were serious, you would already know that. You would already know what the limitations of the police are, why they can't take certain actions because of a little pesky thing called civil rights and due process, like those things that protect all of us to make sure we're not treated unfairly by the state. There's a reason that there's some things they can't do, but that protects all of us from the tyranny of the state, or whatever you want to call it, right? So you should know all of this, though. You should know where the limitations are and what work you need to do to overcome those limitations as a predator hunter. So the fact that he doesn't know is just yet again more evidence he's got no fucking clue what he's talking about or what he's doing. It's all cope. It's all bullshit. It's all fucking parlor tricks, charlatan nonsense.
Is me showing all of you how to do this stuff, because it is a little complicated, but I think it's worth doing if you're spreading the right message.
I sent him a picture of my ass.
Yes!
And yes, that is my actual ass. So why don't you go to Patreon and support me sending my ass to pedophiles?
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking
Yo!
Weaslly little
Good
liar,
meme.
dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. Literally lying. Still lying to his audience. Holy fucking...
In the last
Classic.
installment of my MamaMax series, we also discussed the story of one Anthony Fields and how MamaMax made an unsubstantiated allegation of predatory behavior against him.
I don't feel he could do anything to me legally for saying that, because if he were to, the girl who made the testimony would come forward and testify against
So she
him.
has his dick pic and has timestamps of when it was sent.
He does not have his dick pic.
So what does she have that she could come forward with?
Just her memory. But just because Anthony Field doesn't want to admit he's a pedophile doesn't mean he didn't do the things he did.
We already knew that Max Stryker believes allegations in and of themselves are enough evidence to conclude Camden Gerard Davis is a cult leader and child predator.
Well, I addressed him as a cult leader and sexual predator because that's how he has been described by the survivors, and even testimonials themselves serve as evidence in a court of law. So to me, that is all of the evidence I need to say this man is a sexual predator and cult leader.
But there's also that conveniently different standard set for the 5 girls that accused Max
Yo,
himself
let's
of being
go.
an abuser.
You provided evidence that was some girl's testimony, and 4 girls, if not 5, came out with their testimony against you. So by your own definition of evidence, they would have more evidence against you.
What I'm saying is the burden of proof is on them and they didn't provide any.
I even confronted Max on this, and he was unable to demonstrate how these 2 cases shared meaningful differences. 5 girls said it.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened.
Well,
5 girls said it.
Well,
yes,
About you.
Yes.
Oh.
After they were in a group chat together for 3 months, after changing...
After they were in a group chat together for 3 months, what about your Discord with all the survivors in, you fucking retard?
their allegations.
Wait, I'm
multiple
sorry.
times.
What group chat are you in? The evidence server with all
Yes!
of the girls?
Oh, I've seen this already, I think, but yes!
There is evidence in there.
Clearly, MamaMax has two completely different standards for believing women based on largely spoken word testimony, and he showcases an alarming hypocrisy when he himself is on the receiving end of an accusation. We also learn that MamaMax is ready and willing to tease unverifiable evidence in his unsubstantiated predator allegations. Evidence Max knows damn well he is not in possession of.
So do you have any evidence proving he's a pedophile? Because you didn't show it in your video.
What do you want? His dick pic?
No. What? I want evidence proving he's a pedophile.
I think his behaviors prove that he is a pedophile.
So she has his dick pic and has timestamps of when it was sent.
He does not have his dick pic.
But like I said, we all knew that already. What we weren't able to do last time was establish a pattern of behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, are you familiar with the YouTuber Night Docs?
Yo, what I tell you? Let's go! Guys, this is it. This is the thing. You saved the best till last, it looks like. This is going to blow your fucking mind, okay? This is gonna blow your mind. New information. You do not know about this yet if you haven't watched the video. Get ready to have your mind fucking blown, okay?
I heard you mention that you do like stuff with like politics and stuff. Like, I have no idea what kind of content you make. Typically, that you don't really follow under the same like genre as him.
We are definitely, there is a huge overlap in the audience for myself, MamaMax, Nexpo, Barely Sociable, all that.
Yeah,
so
Nexpo,
it's more
MamaMax,
dark, it's
they
more
make
dark documentaries and stuff.
Night Docs, or Jim, was a proud MamaMax supporter during the Pick a Side YouTube campaign. So much that he called in to actually debate me 2 years ago and defend Max's character from scrutiny. But do you think like referring to it as like YouTube and saying stuff like the pedophiles that YouTube loves? I think one of the ones was that did he call them complicit? But like
the spirit of what he was saying, yes. I know, I understand this. Part of my response to this, I need further clarification from you though. What is the problem you have with him saying that? Like, what I see it as misinformation.
Like Max and many of their mutuals, Jim is a video essayist who makes long-form content. He was also firmly in the friend group of Max, Nexpo, Mutahar, and others just a few short years ago. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, Nick, what happened to this up-and-coming YouTuber with all of these widely successful friends and connections? The reality was, Night Docs was cast out of his social circle because Max spread rumors that he was a bad father, a creep to women, and worst of all, a pedophile. You are one of MamaMax's biggest defenders. You even debated me on a live stream 2 years ago. But you've even told me offline that he lived rent-free in your house for months. Can you explain the allegations that Max has made against you to the best of your ability and respond as necessary? Yeah.
His allegations against me range from I'm a neglectful parent to I am a creep, that I'm a pedophile. Essentially, the one that I was most bothered by really was when he was calling me a pedophile. He wasn't saying it publicly. None of the allegations he had against me were said publicly. He was doing it all behind the scenes with the people that I was closest to. I mean, I opened my home to this guy. I let him live not paying a dime in rent. He didn't do any chores. He didn't pay any rent. He really didn't do anything. So like if he's complaining about how one time he fed my kids breakfast or whatever, he owed my kids breakfast, lunch, and dinner every time I had him. And he never once offered to compensate me or do anything in return either.
You heard that correct.
Yo! Guys, I know I hyped it up a lot, but come on, man. I'm glad it's finally out there now. Isn't that fucking insane? Max rat fucked his friend behind the scenes. Allegedly, Nicholas is going to show more, I'm sure. Allegedly rat fucked his friend and made allegations against him to his friend group. Isn't that fucking crazy, bro? And think about it. It makes sense. I only found out about this because obviously me and Nicholas are friends, and he told me a bit about it. Swore me to secrecy. He said, you can't say any of this. This is all for the video. Okay, fair enough. So he filled me in a bit on it. And that's why I showed you the Night Doc stuff, right? Because just to tee it up a bit and for a bit of fun. But like, even before that, before I knew that information, right? People would say, oh yeah, Night Docs. Whatever happened to that guy? You remember? It's like, yeah, Night Docs. He was like an up-and-coming YouTuber, and then he just disappeared all of a sudden. Well, maybe this is the answer. Maybe he decided to go because he recognized that he was getting sliced out of it with, false, what seemed to be false allegations with no substance. And this hasn't been spoken about publicly. So it's like, either MamaMax is a liar and he made this up, allegedly. Obviously, we'll get some more information about this. He's either a liar that made it up, or alternatively, he knew about this and kept it private and didn't tell anyone. So he's withheld allegations of a serious nature against someone for years. Right? Do you know what I mean? It's like there's no way out of this where Max looks good. He either admits he's a liar or admits he held back substantial allegations for a period of time. This is fucking... There's no way out of this. Or unless he's got significant evidence that it's not true. But then, I mean, I don't know how you'd prove that. But anyway, let's listen on. I'm sure there's more.
Not only did Max allege to have a predator friend that you never heard about, Max lived in his home by choice and rent-free for months. So how does it make you feel that he called you a pedophile file, and I'm pretty sure you have, I don't want to say specific ages, but you have like 2 younger kids in your house.
I do, and they are pretty little. One is 10, the other is 7. I honestly figured after what Ryan initially told me that him calling me a pedo or whatever was like, that bothered me, but like I know the facts are on my side on that and everything, and there's really nothing that anybody could really say with any kind of credibility that would even hint at something like that. What really bothered me is he seems to have told everybody who will listen about what a bad dad I am.
Did he ever confront you about your parenting? Did he ever like take you aside and say, hey, I'm kind of concerned about your girls?
Not once. Never. He never confronted me about anything, especially the stuff that's been coming out of the woodwork that he's been telling people behind the scenes.
How did you find out he was saying this stuff about you? Did Max ever confront you directly? And if he did, how did you talk him out of covering this story on his YouTube channel? Because, you know, he's like a wild hunter, right?
I never had a chance to confront him because he never brought it to my attention that he had that perception of me.
Much like his allegations against Anthony Field, evidence was never released by Max that would implicate Night Docs at all. Unlike...
Why did this never come out before? Because Night Docs doesn't want to cut... Night Docs, he's going to look at it, right, presumably, and go, I either come out publicly and defend myself against allegations that aren't public, and then I look guilty, right? And I'm going against the Pred Hunter, and we know what Max does against people that come out against him. He's going to slander you and going to pile you under his audience so you can't do anything about it, right? So I'm guessing, especially if you've got kids, his perception was, it's best for me to just disappear and move on about my life. He's literally in like a no-win situation. It's an impossible situation to get out of because they aren't public. You can't respond to it. If you do, you look guilty and you're making it public. People are then going to believe it. Like, it's a puzzle you can't solve. But now, the puzzle box has been switched. And now Max is the one that's in the fucking puzzle box.
Like his allegation against Anthony Field, these weren't even made in a public setting, almost as if to damage Jim's business relationships exclusively.
All of my friends, he told them pretty soon after he moved out, and was then using that planted perception that he gave them to further drive a wedge until they were up in Buffalo or something. They were on a trip, and Ryan told me the story that he basically brought me up out of the blue and went off on this rant in the middle of the night saying, we gotta cut Jim off. It's only a matter of time before he gets canceled, and you don't want to be associated with him because he's into all of this. Now, I wasn't there to hear the specific things he said. Every impression that I've been given is that there really wasn't anything concrete that he could point to that supported his claim, only a predisposed feeling he had that he would then bolster with various stories that he felt he could tell to bolster that narrative.
So for the last question, don't answer this as like Night Docs the YouTuber or the filmmaker. I want to hear from Night Docs the father. How does it feel to be called a pedophile, or someone who mistreats their children or creeps on women? What does that make you feel?
It's really hurtful. I have a hard time understanding why someone who called himself my friend would not only say that about me, but not have the balls to tell me to my face, but instead
shameful, absolutely shameful,
my back and do it in a way that people feel like they're in on a secret.
And if it was true, why wouldn't he do something to help your girls?
If it was true, why wouldn't he try and get me arrested? Why wouldn't he try and bait me with some kind of sting operation or try and catch me in or whatever? He never tried that because he knows that's not what I'm all about.
To corroborate Jim's story, Nexpo has agreed to give an on-the-record statement of what Max told him directly.
So regarding Jim, there were two specific stories that Max really harped on when it came to Night Docs, at least whenever we had our little, I guess, falling out. So Max was convinced that Jim was this pedophile creep, and he backed up this claim with, firstly, a story about an inappropriate conversation that he claimed Jim had with a minor. As it turned out, this person was not a minor at all. They had told Jim their age at one point, which I believe was like 25 or so. I'm not entirely sure, but that's that whole story that Max always referred to back whenever he would call Jim a predator. There was another story that led to more of Max believing Jim to be, I guess, a creep, and it involved one trip to a restaurant that he and Jim had way back when Max was living with Jim. Apparently Jim was, making moves on the waitress and, continuously hitting on her, and he just wouldn't stop, and it made this, I guess, situation, or this dinner that they were at, very tense and awkward. Basically, every single time that I was with Max during the time when we had our, I guess, falling out, I guess you could call it, Max would perpetuate this narrative that Jim was this pedophile creep, and he would always refer back to these two stories. And I guess I just never really vetted them because Max kind of planted this idea in my head that...
Okay, look, I was saying earlier, okay. I was saying earlier about people trying to do the right thing, and we're literally watching someone trying to correct the record now. But, like, that is insane. That is totally and utterly shameful that you didn't even make any effort to vet the situation. I'm speechless. I'm literally speechless. I don't know what to say. I'm shocked and appalled that you wouldn't even think to check that or validate that, or even what? Did not even ask the guy about it? Like, what the fuck, bro? It's crazy. This Night Doc Spot guy, as far as I'm concerned, deserves complete and utter validation. All of these people should bring him on their platform, issue a solid, strong apology, and try and get his career back up and running if that's what he wants. Right? These people that have done this, in order to correct this, is, I think, you need to bring this guy on and let him speak on your platform. Put it right as best you can now, and try, if he wants to, get this guy's career back off the ground, because this is absolutely disgusting that this guy got smeared and you didn't go against it. You didn't fucking check it out. You just kind of went along with it. And here's the problem that you've got too, is if these fucking retards had actually watched his videos and engaged with his content, they would have had the warning signs to know that this was bullshit. So it's like an endless fucking array of fucking problem. It's like, you didn't watch the videos, yeah? You didn't scrutinize his work. Then he told you your friend was a Nazi and you didn't scrutinize that. You got on board with stupid campaigns when you should have scrutinized that. It's just subsequent mistake after mistake after mistake. I don't know, man. Oh, it's just crazy. It's just, what the fuck can you even say? And the problem that you've got is me saying that people would be upset. Like, even me stating that, Nexpo fans are going to freak out at that concept, right? Yeah. I get that he's on the video saying it now, but like, what? It's such an insane thing to do. Of course, people are going to be like, what the fuck, bro? That's crazy. I don't think you'd be mad at the people that are pointing that out. You should be mad at Nexpo too. You should be angry with Nexpo too. I'm not saying do a witch hunt and cancel him and fucking whatever, but that anger that you've got should be aimed at this guy because he's the one that's fucked up here. And I'm just pointing it out of how crazy it is to fuck up this badly, But anyway.
Oh my god, we're associated with Jim. We have to cut Jim. We cannot be associated with someone like this. He's a pedophile, he's a creep, he's all of these things, and we can't associate with this guy. And in hindsight, it's silly. It's silly to just listen to this, especially with this track record of just throwing out allegations without any evidence. But yeah, that was the, I guess, narrative that Max was running with. And I guess I didn't realize that he could have been, embellishing some details. Jim, I know you're watching this. To you, man, I want to say that I'm sorry. I know I've been talking to you privately behind the scenes about all this, but again, I'd like to go on the record here and just say that I'm sorry, man. I should have handled this better, and I should not have listened to what Max was saying.
Now look, if you have a problem with what Nexpo just said, remember, Max said allegations are evidence. As it turns out, Max, the Predator Hunter, wasn't even man enough to confront Jim head-on. Mutahar was the one who would inevitably ask all the difficult questions.
In regards to Jim or Night Docs, there were two allegations, one of them which had come from Max, allegedly.
Yeah, the only thing I want to clarify with that is, like, so I'm assuming that Night Docs decided to leave content creation because of all of this. Is my assumption, right? So Yeah, that's the only part I'm not 100%
friend
on.
group about him not being necessarily the best dad. There were two key things. One of them was him being asleep most days, and then the other was that Max would have to step in and feed his children cereal or whatever else was in the house. This is something that I heard, again, not from Max, but through our internal friend group. And while this one definitely raised some questions about, okay, you know, gotta be attentive if you're the dad, it wasn't necessarily the most serious thing. However, what was more serious was the allegation where he had allegedly started unzipping himself in front of a minor, exposing himself over a Discord video call. Now, I actually confronted Jim about this one specifically because I wasn't exactly, I needed to know the bottom of this truth, or I need to understand or at least get his side, because obviously I met the person in reality. Me and my wife confronted him, and in this situation, Jim obviously categorically denied that he had done anything, but I didn't have any evidence for or against Jim, and you know, in spite of all that, I still decided to, you know, hold back my connection, not talk as much anymore. We weren't necessarily the most talkative people anyways, but this absolutely sealed the deal. And that's
Bro, okay, so listen, Mutahar gets points for at least talking to him about it. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, bro, like, this guy got cut off for no reason off the back of Max saying it happened. I mean, look, I got to be honest with you, okay? If someone, look, it's easy to sit here and judge Mutar for this, and I do judge him, okay? I do think this is wrong, okay? I do think this is wrong, right? I think that one thing just to kind of add to the side that you need to take into account is your friend is coming to you who's a pred hunter. Yes, you've not done your due diligence. Yes, you're an idiot for not doing that. Yes, you're an idiot. But like, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want focus taken away from, yes, we can criticize the people for this. But fuck me, Max is still the person that did the thing, right? Is there bad behavior here? You can criticize, yeah, but Max is the person that made up the lie. That's the most fundamental aspect of this that I think it's important to remember. So just bear that in mind when we're thinking about this. And just remember that a friend coming to you and lying when they've got a reputation as a predator hunter, unearned because of your retardation, but have got that, like, would you make a different decision? If someone that you trust as a friend is coming to you and saying, hey, this guy's a nonce, would you want to continue to talk to that person? Would you go out of your way to keep talking to them? Or would you quietly cut it off because you're like, I don't want the smoke just in case? It's easy for me to, like, it's easy for me to sit here and judge this, okay? And I would say to you, I wouldn't do the same in that situation, but I can't say that for sure because I'm not in that situation, okay? And that's not me saying that I definitely cut them off and stuff, but like, it's very easy to like make it so you just don't talk to the person as much in that situation. And you can do it in a way where you feel like it's fine because you don't talk to them anyway, but you know, okay, well, I'm doing it because I don't want the smoke of these allegations. So, you know, Mutahar did ask questions and seemingly did come to the conclusion that there wasn't any backing for it. So, I like, it's difficult because, you know, obviously the instinct is, fuck you, Mutahar, fuck you, Nextbro, I can't believe you did this. You're fucking disgusting people and you're fucking da-da-da. But I do have some sympathy for the fact that, like, in the circumstance, you might do that too. I can't say. I'm not in that situation. I don't know. But I'm, you know, I'm open enough to saying that I can see a circumstance where I might do the same thing. Okay? Right? This is cap. Well, no, what I'm saying is I think asking questions is fine. And I think Nexpo is more worthy of criticism. Okay? Mutar asked the questions, which is one step further. But he's saying he just kind of quietly cut them off and didn't do anything more substantive than that. I can see a circumstance where you might want to do that, you know, if your channel's on the line, if you're like, I don't want to fucking knock about with this person, just to be on the safe side, okay? So, I'm saying I wouldn't do this, that's my position, but until I'm in that situation, and I've gone through it, I don't know. No! You go and watch the video yourself! I'm giving you my fucking reaction and response. If you don't want that, go and watch the video yourself. That's all I'm saying, okay? That's all I'm trying to get across to you. Anyway.
That's just because I don't really like to interact with somebody that even has that kind of an ick on them or that stain. Because again, I don't know what's true or what isn't. In this situation, I just decided to dial back the friendship that I had. Obviously, considering everything now, I'm more inclined to believe Jim at his word, given the other party. But yeah, those were the two big allegations. Well, at least one of them were the most serious allegations, that being of the minor and him exposing himself over Discord. The other one about him being a father coming into question, I don't think I ever really questioned that. I think obviously when it comes to him and his interaction with kids, again, in comparison to him interacting in a weird way with potentially a minor or any woman on the internet, was something that raised more red flags. But yeah, that was about it for Jim. Thank you for having me on.
Right now, your bullshit detectors are probably going off like crazy because this story makes absolutely no sense. There is literally no response that Max could offer that would make this situation palatable to the general public. If there was evidence that NightDocs is a pedophile, why did Max, the predator hunter, not disclose that his good friend and former roommate preyed on children? It certainly seems like something Max would, or dare I say should, have disclosed publicly on his main YouTube channel. Look, if it was me being paid 10 to 15 grand a month on Patreon to hunt predators for a living, I personally would feel compelled to share the revelation that I lived inside of a predator's guest bedroom rent-free. What I wouldn't do is wait until I moved out and then spread a rumor about him privately amongst his friends as a form of gossip.
When I lost all my friends, I just went away from YouTube and all that. Like, I just lost all of my self-esteem. I just felt like I was like irredeemable.
Christ.
There was something wrong with me that nobody would ever want to be around me, and I had no idea what it was that I did, but I was like, I'm obviously just a piece of shit.
So you'd say this impacted your career, I guess?
Absolutely, it impacted my career. I completely fell off. I ended up hospitalized. Like, I genuinely ended up hospitalized. I came within hours of doing something very permanent and very stupid. It was the last straw, and essentially on top of a period of about 3 or 4 years of one traumatic incident after another of things that were out of my control.
There's also the lingering...
Like... Yeah, that I can understand that. I get that. That's fucking hell. That's fucking crazy. Right. He'd gone through a rough divorce and all his friends silently left. I mean, yeah. Not knowing what it is, not understanding what's going on. God, it must be fucking horrendous to deal with, bro. Fuck me. What a fucking piece of shit Max is, man. Holy shit.
Fact that NightDocs is a father with children in his home. Reminder, these allegations never made it outside of Max's social circles. If Jim was a predator, Max didn't even feel compelled to get the message out to anyone who could get those children out of his home. In reality, the most likely conclusion is that Max is lying. He doesn't have conclusive evidence that NightDocs messaged a minor. If he did, he would have come forward with it years ago. Max's unearned credibility in this time frame allowed him to make unlimited, unsubstantiated predator allegations without anyone in his audience or social circle questioning him. Last video, we found out he did this to Anthony Field, and now it appears he's done this again to NightDocs.
I could literally cancel you, and I choose not to. It's true, though. It's the truth.
Bro, doesn't this take on a whole new meaning when you know this as well now? Isn't this like a whole new context to me making these comments? Bro. That is crazy.
The friggin' pedo hunter.
So which is it, Max? Were you protecting a child predator through years of silence? Or did you maliciously lie to destroy a YouTuber's career? I'm looking forward to hearing that section of your Silencing All Survivors documentary.
I'm concerned about Max.
Max?
I'm literally concerned about him.
Max is definitely the most animalistic out of all of us, so...
In conclusion, I never wanted to cover this story. MamaMax begged me to do it. I never wanted to stream about it. I never wanted to make main channel content, but MamaMax hounded me. In fact, he begged me, Tom, and Mudahar. Max's Achilles heel is that he kept going back to the well, and this was the last straw that broke the camel's back. If Max just took our silence as lack of interest and didn't follow up with direct threats to me, I'm sure his grift would have kept going. Ironically though, Max's persistence and unwillingness to accept no for an answer is what led to his downfall. Go ask his ex-friend Haley. She'll tell you this is not a new problem for Max.
In the military, we were talking, texting, and then just one day I was losing it. I was depressed, and I cut myself, and I posted it on that Facebook, and I said, "Thanks, Anthony Field," or something to that effect. Yeah, I would say that is certainly evidence of something.
While that's
new, isn't it? Yeah, bro. What have I been telling you about these fucking allegations for the past few weeks? I mean, obviously, I haven't been bleating on about this for as much as Tommy has, say. But he's focused on more the... But, like, though that video got done dirty in so many different ways. The original allegation video got done dirty when it came out and people didn't pay attention to it. It got done dirty when Max responded and said a bunch of bullshit that pulled the wool over people's eyes, right? When in the original video, he admitting to carving himself and putting it on Facebook, mentioning the fucking Hailey's boyfriend's name. He said he did it. And people acted like there was nothing to it. Like, it's such an... God, it makes me so angry that no one fucking was like, hang on a minute, this is a crazy thing to do. People acted like there was nothing to it. Oh, just a young guy, what can you do? No, he was schizo. He fucking made this girl's life hell for years. And it was swept away. Wrapped up in a fake fucking pedo allegation. I mean, Brian, it's just shameful. But anyway, at least the record is getting corrected now. And again, I don't think that I'm not saying Max has got plenty to look at recently that you can talk about, but it's not to do with like hauling him over the coals for what he did years ago. It's to do with the fact that when it was revealed and spoken about, it was disregarded as nothing. Crazy. Anyway, there's a video on my channel of Hailey, the person that made the allegation related to what we just saw that came on. Go and check that out. She kind of talks a bit about it and how she feels about what went down. But anyway.
Scenario led to MamaMax getting dishonorably discharged from the military. This fuck up led to him getting dishonorably discharged from his career as a predator hunter. I ended the first video by saying Max is a fraud and everyone knows it. This statement could not have aged any better.
Do you think this guy is redeemable? No. I think you should delete his channel and get the off the internet forever.
Filmmaker dedicated to empowering children. How is that not your proudest aspect? What does that mean? What do you mean by fight back? By making YouTube videos? How are your YouTube videos helping them fight back? What does that mean?
You could take everything Max says and flip it on him.
The fact that they're trying to profit off of subjects like rape and CSA is probably one of the most disgusting things you can do.
Oh my god, yeah, this was great. Just to show just how fucking inconsistent he is. And the fact that he is saying this whilst earning so much money from Patreon is crazy.
You guys are the reason why it's so goddamn difficult to believe actual victims. It seems to be their pattern. If you don't believe them, you're gonna get harassed. He is the predator.
You are the predator. In his video where he's falsely accused, he uses it to falsely accuse people.
Have you ever gotten someone arrested?
If I have, then I don't know it.
He told us he did. He told us he got Pablo Sunny arrested.
He hasn't even fucking confirmed the evidence. He hasn't even been walked through and told the context of the evidence of all of the other survivors, aside from Spencer, apparently.
Is this the whole justifier from him? Like, oh, we're making this into content because she lives with me right now, but she needs to be independent so she can become a YouTuber? What's the YouTube channel going to centralize around? Her alleged trauma? That's fucking insane.
The Nick video is basically all of this is kind of like caught up with them, where it's like, okay, well, you haven't actually caught anybody. You don't actually do any while hunting. The current investigation involved in seems incredibly tainted because you're like very close friends, childhood friends with some of the people involved. Like, all of this seems hyper retarded. And you're like scamming your fans for GoFundMe money. And you're like trying to like do, yeah, it's just like all of this basically, yeah. Basically, that's it, yeah.
So now Max is caught between a rock and a hard place. The general public is fully aware that his platform has never been used in a meaningful way to catch predators. In retaliation, the con artist plans to make a documentary called Silencing All Survivors, where he blames...
This is why Kuma went hard on people that sweep for him. I mean, yeah. The thing is, the thing that's annoying about criticizing the people that swept for him is not even the person that you're criticizing for sweeping. Is the fact that you get an absolutely insane, rabid response to it, right? And I listen, not to suck my own dick, I'm quite a self-reflective person, and I think about my actions, and I think, could I have done it differently? What could I do differently next time? Right, and so on and so forth, right? So when I got a lot of like Mutahar fans in my replies telling me how wrong I was and how wrong I was and went about it, I thought, okay, well, maybe next time I should take a different tact and take a slightly different approach. But then I saw Lyric speaking to Nexpo, and he did it in a way where I thought, okay, so he's going like, he's firm, but he's taking a different tact that isn't quite as abrasive as the way that I spoke to Mutahar, right? And I thought, surely people are going to be satisfied with this, bearing in mind the response I got when I spoke to Mutahar. And no. It was the same fucking response where, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you're talking firm but fair, that was lyrics through and through, but you still had Nexpo's retarded fans in the replies freaking the fuck out. And so I realized it's not about the tone, it's not about the abrasiveness, it's not about calling him a retard or anything like that. It's that they don't want to hear what you've got to say. They want you to say, well done! Well done for saying sorry. Well done for realizing now. Good job. You've done a fantastic job. This must be really hard for you. They want the Homelander interview. You were just friends with the wrong guy. Can happen to the best of us. You know, they want you to suck their fucking dick. They want you to take their dick to the back of your fucking throat when it's not justified and it's not deserved. It's to the point as well, where as time goes on, okay, later on down the line, you'll get people that come into the replies and they're like, well, Mutahar's made a video about this now. And it's like, yeah, that's after I spoke to him. Do you understand how linear time works, you fucking moron? I spoke to him weeks ago at this point, and, you know, afterwards he made a video. Great. But at the time, right, I'm fairly certain that other than the conversation with Nicholas, where he put some of the criticisms to him, and he was still resistant on the Magnetar stuff and had to be kind of, you know, talked round into kind of really accepting the criticism. When he came on my stream, I'm pretty sure that was the first time he'd publicly been so mea culpa about the situation. I don't think before that I'd seen or heard him as blatantly and as openly saying, oh yeah, I was wrong. I fucked all this up. Okay? And it's not a self-suck thing, right? Whatever, right? Yeah. He came on and was apologetic. Great. The problem that I've got is the way that the fans respond is fucking unhinged and retarded. That's the fucking problem. Okay? Like, dude, literally, I'm not here. Anyway, I'm not going to speak more about it. It's just very frustrating. And, you know, just, I guess if you're a fan of people, I think it's important for you to recognize that people do fuck up. They're going to get a bit of shit and they're going to get a bit of heat for that. And I don't think you get to fucking moan about the heat they're getting when they fucked up. Like, that's going to happen. Accept it. There we go. Okay? And if they're taking it like a champ, good on them. But they're going to get some heat for doing a stupid thing.
Blames us. This is not going to end well. People keep saying that his one singular chance at redemption would be to catch Camden Gerard Davis, but even that is already out of Max's hands. The reality is, and it's no secret, many of the girls have already decided to work with Mutahar instead, and he's now personally advising them. Any arrest that could come from this situation will correctly be credited to both the individual survivor and Mutahar respectively. Simultaneously, I'm just gonna come out and say it, Turkey Tom is working on a massive video exposing Camden and what he believes is an actual cult. This video on release will wipe Max's coverage into obscurity, as his channel doesn't even appear when you look up his name in search results on YouTube anymore. So to summarize, Max, you weren't just exposed, you were more or less erased. I showed the internet that you're a total fraud, Mutahar took over your case, and Tom will be spreading awareness farther than your own channel could reach in its prime. The case is closed, dog. It's over.
Hey, Nicholas DeOrio, we in this shit, son?
Eagle-eyed viewers might remember that I promised to leak the full recording of our Discord interview with Max and Spencer. So for the people in the house, let's say the brother and the mother, are they aware that you were 16?
His brother knew I was there. I don't know if he knew how old I was. I don't think he really cared either way.
And the mother?
He was primarily at work. I primarily hid most of the time when she was there. Either that or I would sleep during the day while she was home.
She was unaware that you were there for 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Depending on when you watch this video, that might already have been posted. Look in the description for more information. Thank you to Night Docs, Nexpo, and Mutahar for appearing in this video to testify against Max's character. Thank you to everyone else who spread the word about this story. I think we've made a difference here. But one more thing before we close the door on Max completely. Did you know that Max almost took his fans into the pedoverse?
The MamaMax universe takes place in a dystopian future where child predators have seized global power. The MamaMax universe, MamaMax universe, MamaMax universe,
There was an idea. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people to see if they could become something more.
No way.
See if they could work together when we needed them. To fight the battles that we never could.
Oh my god, bro. Yes.
Hey again, guys. 2 videos in the same year. Oh geez. I don't know what we're gonna do next or when you're going to see me. Maybe Keffals will let me start my own polyamorous cinematic universe. Mrs. Tip, can we start a polycule? Babe, imagine how many versions of Keffals exist in the entire multiverse. Wiggler supremacy!
There we go, guys. Thoughts? I told you. I told you I wasn't overselling it. I told you.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money?
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it.
If Max was as ugly as Syrinx, they'd be the same person. They speak the same way. It's genuinely creepy. Do you think Max Raxxridge is behind the scenes?
It's just, it's shocking. It is totally shocking.
Okay, so just
Wait,
to
hang on a
catch
sec.
up.
I want to find where's the thing? Yeah, the Night Docs revelation is shocking. Just absolutely shocking, man. I love the board. The board is great. Let's look at the board quickly. Look at this, man. The board's funny. Look, you got some great memes on here. Look at this. So you got the Nicholas DeOrio Chauvin thing. You got Epstein, Ultimate Rape Review, Prey, Lyric's tweet. Bro, this is wonderful. You got that image. Oh, you got the Bo Black's tweet. Look. MamaMax own Tommy C. Super funny segment. God, Bo Black's, you fucking retard. Chud Logic abuser question mark. Oh man. Classic. That's a good one. Right, anyway, I've got a little bit of contextually appropriate content to look at here. So, obviously, I'm going to be joining this call shortly. So, for those of you that don't know, Nicholas DeOrio is dropping the full unedited call between him, MamaMax, Spencer, and Mutar. That's going to be happening shortly, I believe, in about an hour or so. But I've been invited to a call with some of the other people that have kind of covered this extensively. So, like, Lyrics is going to be there. Obviously, Nicholas is going to be there. Some other commentary guys. Bo Blacks is there. Turkey Tom's there. Matt Pitt is there. Other people too, maybe some other people. And yeah, we're gonna live react to it. So I guess you could call it EFAP for pedo hunters or something. I don't know. For pedo hunters. I'm gonna watch it in a sec, Smaggle. Relax. I'm gonna watch more. I'm gonna watch the fucking bunch of it. I need some content, and this is perfectly contextually appropriate. Every frame a pedo. Yes, that's what we're gonna be calling it. Okay. The Rape Review Council are convening. So yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, I mean, obviously, from what I understand, if you're, you can obviously listen to it before that, or if they're saying if you, Nick is saying if you're a content creator, go ahead and fucking fill your boots. But yeah, that's going to be coming shortly, I believe. But yeah, it should be fun. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on it for. Part of me is like, do I just stay on it for the whole thing? Because it feels like the right thing to do in terms of like putting it to bed. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it's really putting it to bed to do that. Because this and then this call, these are the last substantive pieces. Of content on this until MamaMax issues a response. Obviously, you'll have people that will come along and make videos off of this. We'll probably get the react up because it's a big fucking, people love the MamaMax shit. But after this, that's probably going to be it. I think this is probably the end of the road on MamaMax stuff. I'm not really looking. I mean, I've just milked this as much as I possibly can, I feel like. And there is more you could do even. Like, you could probably look at stuff that no one's even talked about and find a load of bullshit. But, I mean, what, like, it's the cow has been milked to ultimate satisfaction. MamaMax will respond at some point, and I think that's when we're going to start to see maybe more of this pick up again, but I don't know when that's going to be. Anyway.
How about this? Let me take your hyperbole. You're going to say that's hyperbole.
Okay, let me see if I can get the
Welcome
Tommy
Chud
versus
Nation.
Night Docs call.
Chud love.
Let's watch a bit of Tommy's coverage. I feel this is just look. This is fucking. I'm not going to watch all 2 hours because I don't have time, but we can watch this bit. So we can watch a bit of Tommy popping off. Watch him speak to Night Docs because it's good to look at this stuff again and recontextualize it and think, okay, so now we know this. Like, what do we think? And the thing is, I think it's easy to look at Night Docs and like think you're an idiot, but like he's kind of. The thing is, Night Docs was obviously stupid to defend him, but it just shows what a like manipulative fuckhead this Max guy is because he had these people wrapped around his finger. To the point where he was living with this guy only to then turn on him and call him a predator. He's a complete narcissistic freak, disgusting piece of shit, But yeah, in the meantime, I'm going to do a quick shill while we transition to that. So thank you very much for watching me today. Hopefully that content was to your satisfaction. I teased it as best I could without revealing too much. But hopefully you enjoyed it and some of the revelations made were astonishing to you. Obviously, you're supporting my stream just by watching. I'm going to be going for probably a long time today from the sounds of it. If you're saying you want me to stay on this call, and I'm welcome to, I'm happy to do that to put this to bed. Okay? So to that end, give me money. Support the stream. Okay? There's multiple ways you can do that. Bits, subs, super chats, cold hard cash, kick subs, memberships, okay? Bang, 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 bang. Those are all good. If you want to give me a monthly support without subbing or just chuck me a couple of bucks, Plutonin, thank you for the gift sub. You can go to the Patreon and you can chuck me some money there. I will not be catching any pedophiles, so bear that in mind. But what I will do is continue to regularly put out stuff you want to watch, hopefully. Which I'll link now. There we go. Pedo Hunter 69 is laughing. And Dustin McFree, thank you for the sub as well. So there you go. There's the Patreon. If you want to just chuck a couple of somewhere. If you want to sub, that's fine. If you want to just you know, drop me a call cash, you can do so. I'm gonna be streaming for a long time. I'm 99% sure I'm gonna do the whole call, presuming I'm welcome. Obviously, if I need to drop out because someone else needs to join, fair enough. But I want to put this to bed. Hippo character waves goodbye with the words "next time" behind him. Super sticker. Thank you. Yeah, we literally just watched it. We just finished. But but don't worry. I've got some contextual information and content to get into, okay? So out of everyone in this, I've said repeatedly, Tommy C has been totally and utterly vindicated in all of this, in all of his perspectives and all of his takes, in every single possible way, analysis, and view, okay? Tommy called it.